Great to be here with you all. Sorry to hear that, Nat, and hopefully you'll be less stressed in half an hour. And we got Jenny, hello from London, with an umbrella icon, obviously raining in London. Sweeter, hi from London. Eileen in changing weather in Whitstable. And Helen from the north of Scotland. Caroline from London. Miriam, stressed from North London and needing a space to breathe. I think I'm in the right place. Yes, fantastic. I think you are. And Helen, hi from Suffolk, and Jenny is here from Sweden. Wonderful. And I can see we got Francesca from Mexico. Wonderful. Mm, fantastic. Jude is from the Yorkshire Dales, blue skies and warmth. Very good. For once, the north of England is obviously nicer weather than the south of England. It's been very rainy here. Mm. And Susan from Vancouver Island. Sorry to have your camera off. It's absolutely fine, Susan, to have your camera off. And Janet from Manchester. Sun here for most of the day. Kalpna. Hi, Vidyamala and Mark. Lovely to be here with you all. Good. So we have the wonderful Mark as our tech support, as always, helping us all be here. It's really wonderful what you do, Mark. Thank you so much. Oh, look, you're getting some hearts. That's very good. Hmm. Okay, so it's 2 minutes past the hour. I think we'll begin. Yeah, so very, very warm welcome. And yeah, it does feel a little bit like back to term, back to school. Not, although many of us don't go to school, of course, but September, the end of the summer holidays here, and probably in other countries. So I thought we'd begin this fresh season, as it were, with a simple practice of coming into the body. And the other thing, just to let you all know about, is that September is Pain Awareness Month. So all of September, there's going to be events in society around pain awareness and at Breathworks. So what we're doing at Breathworks is offering you one of our courses for free through the month of September. So Mark is going to post a link in the chat box now, and then he'll also post it at the end of the session. So don't worry if you, in fact, we'd really rather you didn't sign up now and get lost in the computer. But for anyone who needs to rush away at the end, there it is. And then we'll also post it at the end of the session. So if you're interested in this course, it's a 10-day course, Methods for Living with Pain and Illness. It's a course that I recorded a while ago, and it's a bit of an old favorite for people. It's just 15 minutes a day, very, very simple. And you'll get an email a day with the relevant recording. Yeah, so if you sign up. And we're really delighted to be able to offer this for free through the month of September, and do pass it on to other people as well, of course, that you know who might be interested. Good. So I was thinking before coming online, this is Pain Awareness Month. I know some of you will have pain, some of you won't have pain, but all of us will have pain, I'm afraid to say, regrettably, at one point or another in our lives. It's part of the human condition, isn't it? That some of us have chronic pain, but we're all going to have acute pain at one time or another. By acute, I mean short-lived, to do with an injury or an illness or a sore throat or something like that. So having skills and a little bit of a toolkit how to deal with this is really, really helpful. And one of the ways we can deal with it is to calm the nervous system. That very often what happens if we've got pain is we tense and we brace, and the breath comes high in the body and we resist. That's what we do when we have pain. It's all very, very human. But if we can learn to unwind those habits of resistance and to settle deep inside ourselves and let our breath be regular, that can help to dial down the nervous system, and our perception of pain can actually be reduced. That when we're kind of worked up, our pain perception gets aggravated or activated. And if we can settle and calm, that can help to regulate the nervous system, and it can quite literally reduce our perception of pain. So we're going to do a practice where we come into the body and we soften our breathing, and we learn how to cultivate this new habit of ease rather than a braced, resistant stance. And of course, as soon as we do this, any degree of sort of gripping, any degree of breath holding, our pain gets worse. So then we do it a bit more, our pain gets worse, and we get into this habitual state of being wound up. I'm sure we all know what that's like. So if we can develop this new habit of release and settling and breathing, then that can help to retrain the nervous system. So let's give it a go. Excuse me. But the first thing to do is to choose our position. And you can do the practice sitting, you can do it lying down, you can do it standing. You could even do it walking quietly up and down your room. And then beginning to settle. Once you've chosen your position, beginning to settle. And something I always say is to be fussy and particular about how you position the body. Very often we just kind of slump or slouch. And if we've got any pain condition, that will probably aggravate our pain. So really thinking, how do I want to position my body for the next 20 minutes or so? What's going to be most supportive so I can be as relaxed as possible and yet alert? Those are the principles. As relaxed as possible and yet alert. And once you've chosen your position, beginning to settle, and you might like to close the eyes. I always like to close my eyes. I find that it helps me sort of unhook from stimulation. But for some of us, closing the eyes is a little bit unpleasant, in which case, of course, you can keep your eyes open, maybe lower your gaze. And let's have a sense of the body resting into the support beneath us, whether we're lying down, sitting, standing, or walking. Very often there's a lot of bracing in the body, a lot of gripping in the body. So the invitation right now is simply to rest and receive the support of the bed or the chair or the floor with a quality of yielding and arriving and settling. And it might help to take a few deeper in-breaths, and with each out-breath, really let go, release, arrive a little bit more, just if you'd like to. Letting go of the day or the night if it's your morning at the moment. Letting go of the future and arriving in the present. And when you're ready, allowing your breathing to find its own natural rhythm. Just however your breathing is showing up for you at this time. Let's bring our awareness now inside the points of contact between the body and the support beneath us. So if we're sitting, this will be the bottom on the chair, the back of the thighs, feet on the floor. If we're lying down, it will be the back of the body and the back of the head. And you can have the arms resting at the sides of the body. either with the hands resting on the body, palms downwards, or at the sides of the body, palms upwards. If we're sitting, the hands can be resting in the lap or on the legs. And if we're upright, the points of contact will be the soles of the feet in contact with the floor. Let's see if we can imagine that the body is resting into this contact rather than perching on top. Almost a quality of surrendering the weight of the body up to the support beneath us. Allowing breathing to drop deep in the body, letting the buttocks be soft. A very good way to calm agitation that can come with pain or discomfort or a difficult emotional state. A good way is to let our awareness drop very, very deep inside the body. Often when we're agitated, our awareness can be quite high in the body, maybe racing thoughts, the breath high in the body, tight jaw, and so on. So a good way to reverse this is to allow our awareness to flow right down inside the body, through the buttocks and the hips and the legs, and to pull in the feet. So let's see if we can allow our awareness to rest right down inside the feet. And the way you'll know this experience is through sensation. It might be intense, it might be dull, but can you feel any sensations in the feet? Might be tingling, buzzing, temperature, contact with the floor perhaps. And some of us here might have reduced sensation, in which case we can still be in the feet and be curious about the absence of sensation. That's also awareness. And you may well find that your awareness keeps pinging back up to the head. That's quite common. And every time it does this, we just invite it back down into the feet again. The image I use for this sometimes is of a bungee jumper. They fall and they ping back, and they fall and they ping back. But eventually they end up way lower than where they started. Might be a platform or something they've jumped off, and they end up much, much lower. Where the analogy falls down is, of course, a bungee jumper ends up upside down, which we're not. But it's an interesting analogy of sort of bouncing back to the head, coming down to the feet, bouncing back to the head, coming down to the feet. And then gradually, hopefully, our awareness settles lower in the body. Grounded and stable. Let's allow our awareness to flow through the ankles and pour up into the legs. The lower legs and the knees and the upper legs. front, the back, the sides, the inside, the surface, the skin. And seeing if we can rest inside the experience of the legs rather than thinking about the legs in the abstract. So if we're sitting or lying, there'll probably be some contact with the chair or the bed. Maybe our hands are resting on the legs if we're sitting. It's the shape of the knees. Are they warm or cool? Are their sensations intense or dull? Is there buzzing, tingling? And of course, the sensations are continually changing. We can think the body is static, but there's a continual flow of experience in the body. Part of letting go of being rigid and tight is to rest inside this sense of dancing sensations in the legs. Now let's allow our awareness to come into the hips, where the legs join the torso. And often there's a lot of tension here, compression here. So let's see if we can have a very subtle sense of the legs falling out of the hips, falling away from the hips. Into gravity. What sensations are in the hips again? It might be pain, might be dullness, might be pleasure, might be intense, might be subtle. Letting the sensations come and go, moment by moment. Can we let the buttocks be soft? Now let's allow our awareness to pour up inside the belly and the chest areas. Getting curious about breathing. Can we let the belly swell a little bit on the in-breath, subside on the out-breath, a natural breath. Let the belly be soft. Breathing in the chest. And very often when we come closer to breathing, we start interfering with it. Maybe you notice that you're over-breathing a little bit. Your breathing's got a little bit heavy, or maybe you find that you're gripping around your breathing. It's very normal. And one way to release around that is to come back to the buttocks and check that they're soft. It's anatomical reasons why if the buttocks are soft, then the belly and the chest are often a bit more soft. Letting the breath be natural. We don't need to do anything at all. There's a quality of opening in the front of the body a little bit on the in-breath, subsiding on the out-breath, seeing if we can rest right inside that experience. And if breathing becomes unpleasant for you, you can take your awareness to another stabilizing part of the body, the buttocks or the hands or the feet, whatever works for you. Now allowing our awareness to pour into the back of the body, coming back to the buttocks first of all. Soft. And then allowing awareness to pour up into the lower back, the middle back and the upper back, the whole back of the body, the length and the breadth. Feeling the sensations and the movements of breathing. If we've got pain or discomfort in the back of the body, as many of us do, notice any habits of gripping, resisting, tensing. And in the noticing with a kindly awareness, perhaps softening a little bit. Yielding into gravity again and again. And being curious if breathing is showing up in the back of the body. Maybe there's a broadening on the in-breath, subsiding on the out-breath. Again, letting it be natural. And allowing our awareness to flow up inside the body to fill the shoulders. Shoulders that can fall down and back a little bit from the midline of the body, yielding into gravity. We often do a lot of gripping in the arms and the shoulders. It's like we're trying to hold the shoulders, hold the arms on with effort. But if we're sitting or lying, seeing if we can let the hands be fully supported somehow or other. So we don't need to hold on to the arms. And if we're standing or walking, letting the hands and arms hang lightly at the sides of the body. And let's let awareness fill the shoulders, the arms, the hands and the fingers. Sensations, buzzing, tingling, temperature, intensity, dullness, whatever it is, resting right inside, feeling into the flow of experience, softening the habits of gripping, resistance, rigidifying. Letting the hands and the fingers be soft. Now allowing our awareness to pour back up through the arms, through the shoulders, into the neck and the head. but upright, checking that the head is poised on the top of the spine. Maybe a sense of softness in the base of the skull. Chin drawn in just a tiny bit. And yet openness in the throat. If we're lying down, let the head be heavy. So we're practicing this new habit of softening, gripping. Letting the jaw, tongue, lips be soft. Cheeks soft, eyes soft, forehead soft, brain soft, head soft. And broadening to be aware of the whole body. Coming right inside the whole body, the legs, torso, arms, neck, head, face. And rather than thinking about the body or looking at it from the outside, can we rest right inside? Let the sensations come and go like a river. And developing this new habit of softening resistance, of yielding, of releasing, of breathing in the whole body. Dropping our awareness deep in the body if we're agitated, in the head. We're also cultivating this ability to be resting in broad awareness of one part of the body is hurting. We acknowledge it, soften around it. But we can also broaden, so it's just one experience among many in the whole body. And in just a moment, we're going to bring this period of formal meditation to a close. But seeing if we can form an intention to take this quality of awareness with us, embodied, soft, present, fluid, into whatever's coming next. As soon as we're deep in the body like this, we're also in the present moment. So it's a way of unhooking from worrying about the past, worrying about the future, and meeting each moment as it comes. So let's just bring a tiny bit of movement into the body. Just very subtle to start with, and notice any impulse of gripping. And in the noticing, we can soften a little bit. Breathing. And then in our own way, coming into bigger movements however we want to. Seeing if we can keep things soft and fluid. coming into bigger movements if we want to. I always want to stretch at the end. Thank you so much, everybody. I'm really wonderful to practice with you. Thank you for your presence and your engagement. So I always stay on for a little bit for anyone who's new, and people write in the chat box what they noticed. And Mark, oh, you're still there. So we've got in the chat box, we've got the link if you want to sign up for this free 10-day course for this Pain Awareness Month. And then do please pass this link on to anyone else you know who might be interested. Good. And for those of you who are slipping away, go well. See you next week. So Helen's saying, I'd like to try and practice this when I'm walking, as it's then that I have the most pain. Yes, walking meditation can be really interesting. And, perfectly legitimate way of meditating. So it can be, yeah, I'd really recommend that you try that, Helen. Come here, staying in the body, feet on the floor, soft breathing. And if that's when you've got the most pain, just see if you can dial down the tension around the pain. See how you get on. So, Helen, a wonderfully relaxing interlude. So important to take this time out. Thank you so much, Vidyamala and Mark. Yeah, exactly. It's really, isn't it wonderful that we do that for ourselves, that we're taking this time out? And that means we will go back into engaging with other people with a more regulated nervous system. And then people pick up on that. And then it helps them calm down. And we're a bit less reactive and so on. So we do this for others. It's not just something that we do for ourselves. It's an act of generosity, I think, to meditate like this. Lots of thank yous. So Angela's saying, can I sign up for the course, please? So Mark, if you just pop the link in again, you just click on this link, Angela, that's about to appear in the chat box, and you just sign up and then you'll be sent an email. Yeah. This is nice. Aline, I picked up real positive vibes during the meditation. And Kathy, after a weekend of socializing and traveling, followed by rest and recovery, this meditation brought me back to myself. That's wonderful, Kathy. And Maz is saying, thank you for the free course in September. Yeah, thank the team. It was their idea, but it's really wonderful. And we really hope that you'll pass it on to others. And Kalpana, it's always such a joy to practice with you all. Thanks, Vidyamala and Mark. You make everything so nice. That's nice. Yeah, Mark, you're so welcoming. Thank you. Sue, thank you. Lots of thank yous. This is nice. Mel's saying, hi to everyone who has shared their time this evening. That's really beautifully put because we are giving each other the gift of time, the gift of engagement and presence. It's very wonderful, isn't it? Because you can think meditating, just sitting there with your eyes closed, gazing at your navel. I think my mother always used to wonder what I was, that she didn't see it as an act of generosity, let's put it like that. But I used to say to her, look, this is a deep act of generosity because it means that we become nicer people to be around, calmer people to be around. Yeah. So Joanna, thank you. That was wonderful as always. Do you have any tips for how to soften the buttocks? I've realized I hold lots of tension there. I found the tips of letting the legs, arms hang useful to relax the hips and shoulders, but still can't work out how to release the tension in my buttocks. Thanks. It's a great question. Thank you, Joanna. Let me just think about this. Okay, so there's an image that might work, which I think is a really great image of a sack of rice and you put a sack of rice down on the floor, and then you give it a shake, and all the grains drop to the bottom, and that sack, once you've given it the shake, the sack has more surface area in touch with the floor than before. So all the grains sort of drop down into gravity and settled. So I think it's a wee bit like that with the buttocks when I'm doing it. I do imagine that my buttocks are, there's a bigger surface area of my buttocks on the surface they're sitting on rather than being tight. They're kind of softening and spreading. I'm sorry, it's not a very aesthetic image. Let your buttocks spread. But I think it's like that. I think that's what we're trying to do. And I like to imagine that I'm really letting the chair receive my weight through that area. So rather than me sort of propping myself up, I'm just trusting the chair. Just please receive my weight. So that can help. And then you're saying, oh, that's good, Joanna. You're saying, thank you. I love the sack of grain image for this. Yeah, it's very good, isn't it? And Karen, very relaxing, thank you. I think this can be equally applied to emotional pain and stress. Definitely, definitely. So I think probably Pain Awareness Month is mainly around physical pain, but of course, it's exactly the same with emotional pain, mental pain, and stress. We do all this bracing and tensing and tightening. And then, of course, that just makes us more wound up. So everything that we've done tonight applies to emotional and mental pain and stress. Yeah. So Victoria, this session reminded me about a very interesting book on chronic pain that I recently read, The Way Out, a revolutionary, scientifically proven approach to healing chronic pain by Alan Gordon and Alan Ziv. Thank you, Victoria. I do actually have that by my bed and I haven't read it yet. So thank you so much for that reminder. And Rebecca, thank you so much. So grounded and calm. I've been struggling with fatigue and disowning my body today. You've brought me to befriending it again. Your voice carried so much care and full of good intention, which is so soothing. Thank you, Rebecca. Yeah. I mean, today I've actually I was in a quite long meeting, and by the end of it, I thought, yeah, I'm not nearly as embodied as I could be, and I felt quite exhausted and tight. So this is exactly what I needed as well. I feel so much better now. So it's so easy, isn't it, to end up just being slightly, well, you've used the language of disowning your body. I think with me, it wasn't quite as intense as that, but there was this kind of resistance, not quite wanting to be with my experience. I was in a lot of pain. So it's interesting. There's a book by, I think it's James Joyce, and one of the characters is called Mr. Duffy. And in the book it says Mr. Duffy lived but a short distance from his body, which is very, very good, isn't it? Mr. Duffy lived but a short distance from his body. So that's an easy thing to do. But these practices can help to call us home, call us home. And Jenny, thank you so much. Having a stressful week at work, and this was exactly what I needed, feeling much more grounded and connected to myself. And Julia, found the body scan helpful for soothing leg pain earlier, and this has been another calming practice. So Miriam, a beautiful practice. Thank you to me and to Mark for facilitating. I kept checking in to my two areas of tension, the buttocks and the jaw, and no doubt the brain too, and heard your words drop down in my head, which was a great reminder to release. That's fantastic. Yeah, drop down. And I'm sure I've said this before, but I say it again for anyone who hasn't heard it before, but there's a very interesting anatomical connection between the pelvis and the jaw. So the buttocks and the jaw. So the pelvis is basically a bowl with a hole in the middle, and the jaw is a bowl with a hole in the middle. So they sort of mirror each other at either end of the torso, and developmentally, they're connected in terms of what goes on in the womb. So it's very interesting that if we're tight in the jaw, we'll tend to be tight in the buttocks. And if we're tight in the buttocks, we'll tend to be tight in the jaw. And sometimes softening the jaw, I think, can be quite hard because often it's tied up with a lot of thinking, a lot of tension. So then I say to people, come in through the back door quite literally. And if you soften the buttocks, if you imagine this sack of grains of rice and it's really sort of settling and you're coming down lower in the body, probably your jaw will soften, probably your jaw will relax. It's quite hard to have a relaxed bum and a tight jaw at the same time. And it's quite hard to have a relaxed jaw and a tight bum at the same time. We can do it with practice, but I wouldn't recommend cultivating that skill. But broadly speaking, if you're tight at either end, you can try relaxing the other end, and it can really help. And Emanuela says, it was so lovely, but I fell asleep. Don't worry about that. I always think when you've had a good sleep, that's good. And it might be that you needed a sleep just then. And all his practices are available on YouTube, on the YouTube channel, Breathwork's YouTube channel, so you can go back to it again. And then Helen's saying, tense, then release the buttocks can help to feel the difference. Yes, that's another thing you can do. So grip your bum and then release your bum. And then you can feel what it's like to have the buttocks soft. And then you can invite that experience back again. Oh, thank you, Victoria. You got the quote. It's from James Joyce, The Dubliners. Mr. Duffy lived a short distance from his body. This is interesting. Karen saying, I remember now an antenatal teacher telling us to smile giving birth to help relax the perineum. That's very good. So that's, again, that connection. If you smile, when we smile, we're going to be more relaxed, and that will relax the other end. Yeah, wonderful. Okay, so Mark, if you could just pop in the link one more time. So we've got to the end of the comment, so we'll stop now. So that's the link again. Please, please, please sign up if you would like to have a free course on managing pain. And as someone said earlier on, it also applies to emotional pain and stress and so on. And please do pass this on to others. You can just copy the link from the chat box and then share it with others, anyone else you know who might be interested. Okay, so if you want to unmute to say goodbye, and we'll see you all next week. I'll be here next week. Yeah, fantastic.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Much. Bye,
Bye,
everyone.
everybody.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Everybody. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Everyone.
Sorry,
Oh, look,
can I?
Elena had her hand up. Elena,
Yes.
do you still want to
Bye,
ask a question?
everyone.
Sorry, I didn't see that.
Don't worry.